Oh, hello guys.
Hey everybody, welcome back to DreamHack Bucharest Day 2.
Good morning to everyone who is an early riser, I guess, here in Europe.
Or a late night
or
owl
a late owl in the
Late-ish.
US, exactly.
I got my scar from yesterday.
It's
Reyna did this to me after I trash talked him.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Looks like he won.
That's a cool story, Kripp.
Or did you
what-
win? And
what
we
I
haven't
heard
seen,
is-
that's why we don't see right now.
Actually,
something
Reina's
like
right
that.
here.
Something like that.
He's smiling back at Kripp, you know. I'm not amused, man. So, actually, the true story is that Kripp had a third-degree encounter with a nasty door or something. It
Yeah.
ambushed him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It just spawned in front of him. What was that? What?
European doors are
Especially Romanian doors,
something
man.
else, man.
No remorse.
They're a little
Yeah.
different than American doors.
Yeah.
You just don't see them coming.
Have to watch out for them, really.
You do,
You
really.
have to plan for them and stuff. So, guys, we're here with the first semi-final. I call it first because it's on the top bracket. Actually, the
It's
second
actually the second
semi-final.
one, because the first one that's going on is RDU versus
tell them
Daniel,
they're-
and they're actually really close neck and neck,
Yeah, they were-
1-1.
Last we checked, they were 1-1, and it was Shaman versus Rogue. So typical Shaman versus Controlly Rogue, and it's the type of matchup that's back and forth. So
Right. And they were fighting for board last time we saw, so like
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to say who's going to win that one.
Yeah, I think Dragos took the first game from RDU
Yeah.
with his Zulok against the Hunter. Then he bounced back with his Rogue, and now Dragos chose the Shaman for the last for the
But
decider.
both of the first two games could have been like 1 or 2 decisive draws.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Especially the Zoo versus the mid-range Hunter. It came down to just top decking, basically.
So we have we're gonna have one of those two players in the final. One of the Romanians.
Romanian
We're gonna have a
heroes.
Romanian hero.
It's
in
like
the
the
end.
Romanians versus the streamers here.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
And the match that we're about to get into is going to be, I believe it's Amaz versus GAARA.
Hey, you know it is, man.
That's right, Kripp.
So a lot of players didn't make it. A lot of people expected to see at least some of their favorite
Yeah,
players
Strife Crow.
win or
Seth,
lose. They wanted to see how they did in the tournament in the end, but we couldn't end up casting every single match because it's a I think 128 player tournament.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's
Yeah, so it's pretty huge. If you guys missed
was
out on some misery or some
utter
some
madness
good
here
games,
yesterday.
it's what
But
it is.
It is what it is,
Yeah.
indeed. Well, Strife Crow, talking about Strife Crow, he had a really long game last night with
Yeah.
Dragos.
The last thing that
was-
happened in this building last night was
Yeah,
like a
everybody-
2-hour
it was-
match between
Everybody was
Strife Crow
going
and Dragos,
home,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Strife Crow and Dragos
It came
were
down to
battling
the
it out.
wire, and like actually it was super close, and Strife Crow should have died like 3 turns earlier, and then
Yeah.
just somehow kept hanging in there.
The final turn was play a loot hoarder into an explosive trap to draw cold blood to have just enough damage and
For
mana to
exactly
kill him
cold.
with Leroy and cold blood.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like 5-minute
And
turns.
down to like almost fatigue.
That's
basically,
no
for both
overreacting.
players.
I think that best of 3 series was lasted like more than an hour and a half.
Yep.
And I
They were
believe
like-
on Strife Crow's end, he had the opponent down to 5 from the explosive.
Yeah.
And in his deck, people were telling me that he had at least 1 animal companion and 2 kill
2
commands.
kill commands, yeah.
And this game had been going on for like an hour and a half or something, and he was playing Control Hunter. So how many cards could have been left in the
Right,
deck?
right, yeah.
I don't
He
know.
had like 11 or 12, so he had like a 30%.
Oh, did he
chance.
have that many?
Yeah, he had a few, but they were just going every time their turn. They were like,
Okay.
Do I have 5 fingers? Yes.
Anyway,
So I was like,
I think the players are actually waiting for us, and
yeah.
we do have to get into
So
the final
let's
as soon as
get
possible.
into this
Let's get
game
into it.
because we're on a schedule here. We're gonna go
Yep.
to the.
Yep. So
Finals
tell your
on
friends, guys,
stage.
that the semifinals is starting between Amaz and GAARA, because
Amaz
right
and
after we're
GAARA.
going to get to the
Let's
finals.
take a look
finals.
at
And
these
probably
handsome
right after.
guys.
I mean, how many minutes was GAARA away from being disqualified?
I think
10? 5?
he was 5 minutes late even.
Oh, okay. We just
But we're just so nice
Just
here.
let him?
DreamHack, he called us. Apparently, GAARA is
We'll knock 5 minutes off his time
he's a
limit.
sleeper. Yeah, he likes his sleep, man. He
Good
wants
thing
to be
it's
well
one
rested.
Seeing how it's infinite time limit, I think he's in the he's in the
Okay,
green.
He's in the green.
Yeah.
So we see Amaz on his Hunter, no surprise there, and GAARA on his Ramp Druid.
Yeah, Ramp Druid's been really good for GAARA this entire tournament. He says he feels really comfortable. In fact, over the past couple weeks in all his tournament play, whether it's online or offline, he's only lost 3 games with it, let alone sets. So I think he feels really comfortable, and that's really important, especially in this high-pressure situation.
Also, the reverse is true for Amaz's Hunter deck, I feel. He's done
It's
Pretty
been
consistent.
very
kind to him.
Yeah, very favorable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which animal companion
good
do you
word.
need?
I mean, that's kind of Amaz for you. And when
Yeah.
you see the front page of Reddit or even just some of his YouTube, it's just the most mind-blowing RNG plays that you'll ever see.
Yeah. So I guess an animal companion just to push something on the board. And 4 is good, but I believe GAARA has a swipe. Or GAARA, yeah.
Mhm.
So do you swipe or Yeti here? I think you swipe.
Yeah, I think you swipe because, again, the board control is just so important against mid-range Hunter. Although,
Especially
guess the
knowing that he has 2 kill commands
Yeah.
in his hand.
Yeah.
He took one from the tracking, one from the start, so there is the swipe, indeed. GAARA playing it safe. Not a bad hand for
I think here you track
for
Hyena.
Amaz. Oh,
That's really bad, isn't
Yeah.
it?
oh, that's not what
That's
you
too
want to
bad.
see. So again,
That's
the
one
the
unleash
2
gone.
last cards, the new view
yeah,
of,
and especially
of this
because he
card.
didn't need Unleash at the moment. That's
Yeah,
where tracking
but
is the
there's
most powerful.
No
You're
way
searching
you can
for-
pass him.
Yeah, when
You
you're
need-
searching for a card
yeah.
specifically, that's when you really want to use that tracking to the
Yeah.
Unleash. But in this case, where it's just trying to use his mana efficiently, it's kind of painful. The flare doesn't really matter too much, though.
Well, they're going at quite a fast pace. At least GAARA is playing his
the game
turns.
plan for GAARA is pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
Kripp, right? Like, you just want to just stay
Yep.
as safe as possible, ramp up to that late game. You're ready to use Wild Growth successfully without losing health. I think things are going very well for GAARA.
They are. I don't think he used Wild Growth, did he?
We'll see a
Because
ping and pass, yeah.
Amaz had
Really?
the coin.
I thought he Wild Growth into the swipe.
No,
Did I miss that?
He did wild growth in the second turn, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did
Okay.
that.
I guess I missed that.
He
That's
did
what I
that.
remember.
Oh yeah, he has 2 mana.
Yeah,
You're
he
right,
is-
absolutely.
He's ahead on mana. But we just saw not such a good turn 4 for Amaz.
Oh.
Just a ping
Mhm.
and a pass.
And
But
you don't want a Black
no other
Knight,
good play-
nothing.
plays.
I mean, you know there's going to be taunts throughout this match. And if there aren't,
Absolutely,
if there
absolutely.
aren't, you're going to win anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Black
is
Knight's super valuable. Just to
either
slow
an-
things.
a Yeti hero power.
I think it's the
or
Yeti Hero
Nourish.
power.
Yeah.
There's no point to Nourish because
You
the turn
have-
after
you
you're
have
going
the
to Ancient of
base.
Lore.
Exactly. You have
So this is just Yeti, or if you think you won't need the Black Knight, just to be mana efficient right now. But I don't think that's the correct play. I think the correct play is the Yeti.
knowing the 2 Houndmasters are in there.
Actually, there is another
If
play.
he
There is
gains
a
2
mana
crystals-
ramp. There is a mana ramp
Yeah, into
play.
the scenarios.
No, yeah, eventually into the scenarios.
And look at the draw.
He does go with the draw. I find this pretty strange.
I understand because, again, if you've been seeing, the way mid-range Hunter can lose is just by running out of answers to how you're be able to, the big threats of Druid or something like that.
Mhm.
So I think going for more cards just keeps him more sustained. And there's no real
Okay.
threat. Doesn't need to build the board larger than it has to be
Mhm.
because you don't want to give your opponent an opportunity to play a value unleash.
I think that was actually his thought process to deny a good unleash. An unleash with 2 minions, I don't think it's particularly good or bad,
That's always
But-
like the average expected value of an unleash. you know?
considering
Right.
Amaz's situation. I think he would have went for it. Oh wow!
Attacking
Look at that hand.
before the draw may not have been so good there.
Could have Mark of the Wild.
Yeah. But Mark of the Wild is also going to serve as a kill to a high main with the Black Knight. So I think it's also fair to save it, even if you didn't attack.
That hand, man.
Or GAARA is looking really good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Amaz also still has a lot of answers. By the way, the overlay, the names, I think should be switched.
Oh yes,
GAARA
indeed.
should be on top and Amaz should be on bottom. Actually, I'll
I
go fix
think
that real quick.
I think at this stage in the tournament,
Everybody
there isn't much
knows who's
confusion.
Amaz and who's GAARA.
Yeah, but people are tuning in for the first time. They want
I guess. Man, Frodan bringing the professionalism. Everyone can see where each of us stand now. I'm like on the casual end, Frodan's at the pro end, and we have PTZ right in the middle. Not even paying attention. Nice. Alright.
I have no retort to that, Kripp. I'll just leave it at that, you know.
I think here you innervate a Yeti.
Boom! I fixed it.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nope, no innervate.
Yeah, there's
Oh wait, no,
reason to
he's
rush
actually
it.
he actually has the faceless, so he can have a big faceless turn with innervate. That might be a little stronger.
to Ancient of Wars, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The
Sunwalker's
next-
also
the
highly
next round.
valuable just because the Divine Shield is extremely powerful against Hunter. Just in general, like Divine Shields are very underrated.
And he's
People are really
going-
starting to pick up on it. Think about this crypt. Double Buzzard into
Looks good.
Into
essentially
Unleash.
4 draws.
And a
Picks
few more.
Timberwolf.
It's not.
Maybe a boar as well. Oh, Deadly Shot's a good pickup as well. For future turns, that is.
Well, he has to waste his doggies into the taunt right now.
Well, it's not really wasteful. Like, this is the
Well,
intent.
yeah. But he can't clear the board, that was what I'm saying. And the Timberwolf wouldn't have helped him.
Timberwolf would only
clear
draw
anything.
1 because
Yeah.
he.
Draw 2.
Draw 2.
Oh, it would be draw 2 because he does have 8.
Yeah, so Amaz is basically saying, like, he's rather hold on to the Timberwolf for potential, you know, combos and pushing for damage. And there'll be pretty much reduced amount of card draw. Is there any other way to draw here for the mid-range hunter other than these buzzards?
I think he wanted maybe a
Tracking, if that
Hymen or a
counts.
Kodo,
But
but
I
Tracking
think
and
that's
flare.
those have both been used.
Yeah. So Amaz is basically saying he's really comfortable with the hand he has now, doesn't need to grab
Mhm.
anymore.
Actually, I think he's trying to dig for high mains, and that hasn't happened.
Ah, man, that 1 health keeper is being so annoying.
yeah, I'm curious if he's gonna kill command it. Because otherwise we know that next turn.
Amaz
It's gonna
has
be
to
pretty
know that
painful.
he's playing against a deck with at least 1 faceless that has, you know, crushed
Yeah.
a few opponents in the past. So I would actually not be surprised at all to see kill command on the 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised to just see a YOLO deadly shot actually.
Well, that can cost you the game if it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because next turn, you know, it's gonna be a faceless on that one, and that's just gonna snowball from there.
You know, Croc, kill command, deadly shot.
Wow. That's definitely the safer play.
Oh wow.
Houndmaster.
And double Timberwolf maybe. Just 1 Timberwolf.
I feel like that sets up for a potential big swipe play, though. Unless, well, we did see 1 swipe,
We
though,
did
on the
see,
Misha,
yeah,
so
exactly.
maybe he feels a lot safer in that regards.
I mean, if you don't Timberwolf, you're gonna have an issue with the ancient because you
Just
can't.
getting a free kill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Wow. I thought he was also probably thinking of putting a hyena or something, but because you have to go through the Crocolisk.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not a very safe board for you to get away with that.
No, here's that Black Knight.
Is the faceless in there anywhere?
This is what Black Knight is just
Yeah.
so good for. It can just swing games. It's kind of like how Kodo can just turn the momentum around with just a 2 attack minion. Black Knight can just completely swing the opposite way of whatever you're winning or losing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why he kept it, I think. And he can innervate another Sunwalker.
I don't think that's the play. I think the play is to Black Knight, attack with a 2-1 into the 4-3, hero power, and then mark the wild the Black Knight, because you won't need to use it offensively anymore.
Yep, and it still limits his opponent's options in case he has a second unleash in his hand.
And he can afford to take some damage because of the healing touch.
And he still has 2 taunts, if that's the case.
One thing he can be thinking of is developing a huge board with Cenarius next turn. So he's playing a bit safe around Unleash. Oh wow.
Still gonna use Mark though. I guess he
Okay.
just values his health a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I think giving
I think that's fair actually. Like look at his hand, it's just all
Yeah.
taunts.
and 10 health is. I mean, the Ancient of War is always vulnerable to something like a Hunter's Mark. And
Mhm.
6 health is still really intimidating anyways. with a
lot.
taunt
Yeah.
minion. No need to like be too greedy and just keep 10 health on it.
Okay.
This is where you can safely deadly shot
Yeah.
Alright.
with no remorse
The expected
whatsoever.
value is pretty
Yeah.
even here.
I mean the Black Knight's better because you can kill off the other one with Leroy.
Yeah, but how will he, if he uses Leroy now to clear the board and deadly shot, how how does he expect to win? He knows he has some heals. He knows
Yeah, it's
he has
difficult.
He
'cause
needs-
the
it's
second unleash is-
difficult.
is
He needs-
knowing that
yeah,
the second
he
unleash
needs
is
to
on.
get some really good value out of his high mains. And I don't know if we've seen both keepers, but I think it's possible.
He still has one in his
saw-
hand.
Still has one in his hand.
Ouch.
That stings. Moss not necessarily getting the good end of that RNG, but then again, it's not like that could have like I think GAARA's just feeling
Way-
so comfortable.
Yeah,
that
way ahead right now.
What do you do now?
I mean, he has the option to try and go for removal, but just like if you get a good animal companion and you
This
got
is
kill
Liak.
command,
Okay, Huffer. He can kill the Black Knight here, but he is pretty behind in every other sense.
yeah.
Another thing he could do is, because
Just
the
not
Timberwolves are not going to be that valuable from this point, he can just double Timberwolf, and one will survive from the hero power.
The worst part
Hopefully.
is you can't do anything with this Huffer. If you can't do anything with this Huffer, it just feels like it can die so easily. So like the Cube of the Grove that Savage was mentioning yesterday.
Oh, swipe. Alright.
And we do see a second
Here,
Keeper, by the way.
here I would have played two taunts. I would have done Ancient of War, Innervate, Druid of Claw.
To try to just build up that board.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he's using all these, 2-for-1s to try to eliminate, or even in this case, 3-for-1s.
Well, at the moment, GAARA is getting all the trades he wants. I think so.
He's in
He's
no
playing
trouble.
very, very
Yeah.
safely,
He's
No
got
rush
insurance.
whatsoever.
He's got gas. He's even got ways to.
and he's still afraid of that second unleash. I
To
think
remove.
that's why he
Mhm.
didn't develop his board for a big scenario skill. Maybe he doesn't know that Amaz had to discard it with that first tracking. So I think that's the only card he's playing around.
Yeah, and this is basically one of the biggest weaknesses of mid-range hunters. If you can never fight for the board, if you don't have good options to kind of respond, and you just feel like you're powerless to do anything.
I can hear everything you're doing
Oh.
to those headsets.
Okay.
Kripp
Sorry
is
about that.
manhandling his headsets.
Yep.
And the Kodo.
Yeah, and basically there's still 2 Yetis on the board, but he's got to do something to try to increase the board presence. But he feels like he has 2 dead cards. The Timberwolves usually combo so well with things like the Unleash the Hounds, but at this point all they're using is to just increase damage for 1.
I think the way that Amaz would have won this game is with like high mains against the mediocre, maybe bad hand.
Yeah,
from
he hasn't
GAARA.
drawn any high mains
Yeah,
whatsoever.
no high mains at all.
And he's through a big portion of his deck because he used tracking. It's turn 10, so about 18 to 20 cards by now.
I think more than that actually, because he drew quite a few with the buzzards.
That is true. He also drew, so that is pretty unlucky there for Amaz.
Wow, that's not what you want to see if you're Amaz.
Well, I mean, I think that's just been the story of the
Yeah, the
past few
story of the
turns.
game. I
Yeah.
think
And again, he doesn't really have an optimal way to deal with this.
Yeah, Hunter's Mark's pretty
pulling
good.
so much ahead with those
Yeah, I
that wild
guess,
growth in
How
round
else
2.
do you do that? You don't have like the explosive to combo with it. And just got your
Mhm.
board's gonna be very, very weak.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Strife Crow and Reynad and Savage were just talking about just how stable Druid is, despite all the people raving over Hunter and Warlocks, and, heroes or Hearthstone, heroes of Hunters and Warlocks or whatever. But I think Druid is just so stable, especially in this environment. You can just see like the comfort level with GAARA. He's able to just play his game, and this has been the story of all tournament for him. He's been able to
Yeah.
And
play his
there it
game.
is.
There it is. Game is over for number 1.
Yeah, he had a few different ways to end it there. He actually had
Amaz not very
2
happy.
damage overkill with the swipe, drew the claw in charge.
Not very happy about that. Losing 1 unleash, no Savannah high mains. GAARA on the other hand. Second turn wild growth with no answer.
Yeah.
Just playing ahead. 2
Mhm.
mana crystals all game.
Yeah.
He made it seem really
Very
easy.
decisive game.
Druid Ram can get away with Wild Growth and Nourish against a mid-range Hunter, then you know that like Druid's in a really good spot. Like let alone the fact that he didn't take any damage and that he controlled the board with taunts and got full value out of like his Black Knights and Mark of the Wild. Pretty good
Yeah,
game.
it was a pretty good
Pretty good
game.
start.
Yep.
So let's see what what counter Amaz will bring to this GAARA druid, who did really good for him. I think he went mostly 2-0. I think one game that we casted went 2-1.
Yeah, and
he had to go to his rogue.
Deck that he played?
I think he went to his rogue.
Okay.
If I remember
Do
correctly.
you even know the third deck? This is
We
a
have it
best
on
of
paper.
3. He only has
This
one
is
deck
a-
to play in this
yeah.
one, but the final
And
will
the final
be.
will
That's
be
right.
best
This
of
is
5.
Amaz's tournament life on the line. If he wants to go to the finals, he has to win here.
Actually, talked to Amaz earlier. He's flying in at his own expense from Hong Kong for this tournament, so he's at $1,000 won already, coming as far as he did, and he's pretty much covered his expenses. So everything from this point is a win.
Just
Yeah,
profit,
it's profit,
you know?
right?
Yeah.
Profit.
Gross profit. And I think we're really happy because Amaz was one of those people who we didn't really know was going to be coming, and then just kind of signed out within the last week or so, and people were really excited for it. He wants to come out and prove that he's not just a popular streamer, but he's also got the skills. He's not just the guy who's always getting good RNG. And I think top 4 speaks for itself, but you'd want so much to be in the finals.
Yeah, the big final is starting at 10:30 Eastern European time. That's 9:30 Central European time on the big stage, in front of the big crowd. Hopefully, even though if it's a bit early.
hello.
Well, the first time
Oh,
we see
wow.
Warlock on stream, and it's a handlock.
It is a handlock
How do you like handlock versus the
I think it's really good.
versus any kind of
plays
druid. I
into
think
what handlock
it's
wants,
really good.
gives him. I mean, both people kind of have the same objective, right? Just kind of slow roll the early game and just ramp up to the late game.
It depends though. Like I think, like as slow as the handlock can be, we know the ramp druid is pretty slow as well. I think the decisive factor might actually come down to how many faceless are in Amaz's handlock deck.
How many? There's usually just one.
One, yeah,
But,
usually.
but
I've
no,
seen
he is third.
variations. Like I haven't played that much,
Oh,
but
wow.
I've seen variations with 0 and 2.
Yeah, so some handlocks have been experimenting a lot as well, not just like the faceless numbers, but even taking out Jiraxis.
That's not the hand you want.
You know, Alex
from
Straza
GAARA.
isn't sometimes always extremely common either, even though it's really good for the burst. So there are different
there's one.
variations.
So already we see one.
Yeah, I just think Faceless is so versatile in the handlock. I'd be really surprised against people who don't run it in tournaments, in both control and the aggro matchups. Gives you another sort of form of taunt, as well as your ability to Faceless to Leroy with a power overwhelming and burst
Oh,
from
yeah.
Oh,
up
nice.
to 24 in the late game with 10 mana.
This is what you want to see in your hand as a handlock: a mountain giant, a Twilight Drake, and a druid doing nothing until his 4th turn.
Yeah, and I feel like GAARA's been playing a very specialized, unique version of his ramp druid. It's pretty greedy, to be honest. You know, not a lot of ramp druids run things like Nourish or even double Starfall.
Here is actually a really good troll play. If you drop the ooze, it can get keepered, and then your Drake avoids the keeper. That's the play right there. You do ooze into mountain giant, into Drake.
Oh, yeah. That's a very, very good read here.
Perfect.
Wow, and Amaz gets exactly what he wants.
GAARA with no hesitation.
Yeah,
Very intelligent play.
really.
Yeah.
And next turn we might see a giant and
Yeah, he actually goes with Twilight to avoid the big game.
Yeah, and that was where I was trying to go at. How does he run the BGH? Because we haven't actually. Oh, he does. Actually, I saw it earlier.
Okay. So what do you do here? You can Argus and Mortal Coil. I think that's what I would do.
Do you feel kind of unsafe against the Black Knight, or do you feel like the trade is still good enough to justify it?
If you don't do that, what do you do?
I don't know. I would put the mountain giant out there.
The problem with Mountain Giant is it's just you don't have a way to immediately deal with the
Yeah,
Druid
you
of the
don't.
Claw without
You don't
sacrificing
kill the
something
board.
big.
That's true.
And then if you get BGH, then the board completely flips, and you can get overwhelmed pretty easily.
I think
So,
he's considering a
it's kind of a
siphon
greedy
also,
play.
but I don't think he should, given that he knows the big cards that
Yeah.
he's running. So he's gonna go for the Kripp play apparently.
No, that's good. And in the end, the Twilight Drake, I mean, the Mortal Coil replaces itself, so the Twilight Drake does end up getting big value. And the most important thing is, oh, never mind. I thought he didn't have the Black Knight.
It does have the Black Knight.
Sick.
Turn 6 Black Knight on a 5/6.
Pretty good.
That's just insane.
Pretty good.
The thing is he's... Yeah, there's not much to consider, but you can get more value against the hand lock with Black Knight. You can hit
That's
up
true.
that 9/9
Molten
Molten.
Giant.
Yeah.
So now the Black Knight is out, though. That does make it pretty annoying for Amaz, because, again, you wanted to get a little bit more value out of the Twilight Drakes. That is one of the harder cards to deal with if you don't have your keepers.
I think here I would Mountain Sun Fury them both and head for face.
I don't even remember if he runs a BGH. Does GAARA run a big game hunter in
I don't
this
think-
deck?
Ramp Druids in general like to run BGH
Oh.
because,
I don't remember seeing one for GAARA.
Okay.
well, he
That's-
does
Oh
have
yes, you
BGH.
can use the coin here. You can do Mountain for 3, coin the Sun Fury from a tap too. That's good. I would
It's
I
not
would do
bad.
that now. Yeah.
Now he just really prays he doesn't have the BGH now.
Yeah, that would be a big, another BGH top deck. That would be insane.
Well, it's also a good power play for the board, because Handlock really needs to start putting pressure on.
I don't think the Soulfire is correct here.
No. Too
You
many
have so
good
much
cards.
to lose
Yeah.
with the Soulfire.
He is going to have to
Sylvanas
Siphon
would
Soul
hurt,
next
Siphon
turn.
Soul
'cause
would hurt.
The thing is, he knows GAARA is playing Faceless himself, and if he Soulfires here, not only does he risk drop an Alistraza, which he might need, he's risks dropping Sylvanas, which he might need, but he risks dropping Siphon
Oh,
Soul.
man.
Oh man, that's
That
pretty
hurts.
bad.
The
That's
control
not good.
matchups Faceless is one of the best.
I
cards
think
you can have.
I think that was a mistake.
I
I think there was
disagree.
far too much to discard in that hand. The hand was too good. You didn't need the Soulfire there.
I think if he didn't have BGH, he was wondering if his opponent had an easy way to deal with it, like with the swipe or something, to just combine it. And Amaz wanted to go again for a little bit riskier play, or a lot riskier play, because again, if the BGH comes out, he just swung a lot the board.
Wow, he goes for the Ancient of Lore there.
Now
Getting his
imagine
own
imagine
Sylvanas.
Amaz had a Faceless right now. That's why Soulfire is just not worth it. Alright, I think here you have to drop Sylvanas.
That has to be the play.
Because if you can Shadow Flame your Sylvanas, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it kind of creates this weird thing for the Druid to kind of follow up. Be very careful with what you drop afterwards. The Sylvanas just changes your opponent's decisions so much, rather than him being able to go on cruise control and just drop big threats after big threats.
That keeper is surviving there since, I think, GAARA's...
The funny
Turn
thing is
4 and
these
still
Soulfire
has one.
draws are terrible because the hand is too good right now.
Yeah, normally you have cards like a Farseer or like Mortal Coil you can kind of toss away, or before to toss away, but all those cards are extremely valuable.
Okay, so I think he was hoping the Wrath for 1, but that's not going to happen anymore. I think the new play is to swipe Sylvanas and then Wrath it for 1 while sacrificing the 2/4 and the 5/5 into the mountain. And with 2 mana left, what can you do? Oh, you can Wrath the Sun Fury as well. Okay, you can clear the board.
Yeah, and get rid of Sylvanas
Yep.
efficiently, and that's definitely the best way. He has so many ways to follow it up as well, so I like that play.
He has so many cards in hand, it's hard to see the... It's hard to see them.
Let's see what he draws
So-
first, maybe a keeper.
Looks like that's what he decided on. He has to sack his cards first, now the swipe.
Here, you can, I think, Hero Power it and then Wrath for 1 next turn, but this is
He
the more
has-
conservative play, and considering he has a bigger hand, I think
Big
it is the
hand,
correct
yeah.
one.
That's right. A very common way to see how Handlock is doing is just judging by the size of their hand and the board state. Molten
Oh
Giants.
wow, just one short.
Yeah, it's nice to have though.
It is. It is. You
That
hope to
hand
draw into
sucks
that.
now. It was so good to support the creatures that he had up, but now he doesn't have any creatures.
Doesn't even have something simple like his Ancient Watchers or his Farseer just to kind of put something on the board.
Yeah, he didn't draw into any Ancient Watchers, indeed.
That's assuming he runs it, but it's a safe assumption he does. Most Watchers
Yeah,
like to put
yeah.
Ancient Watchers in their deck because it's very good to just set up defensively. You have the Ironbeak Owl, and even the Shadow Flame if things get pretty crazy
Well,
against aggro.
he actually has a lot of burst in his hand.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the way you want to sometimes deal with Handlock, because dropping them pretty low, they can put those Molten Giants and put the taunts up, but you also have that option to just try to burst them down before they can get their Giants up.
I'm actually thinking that this game is over, because GAARA can do Drew of the Claw and Mark of the Wild on it, and then the following turn he can Faceless it. There's like no way you can deal with that damage with another swipe in hand as well.
Yeah, Amaz needs something to give it taunt, in a way.
You know, he used already one
It's-
Sun Fury and one Argus, so I think he has one more Sun Fury, and they don't run 2 Argus anymore, so
Yeah.
most likely just one.
He needs to go for the safer play here as much as he can. And dealing with that scenarios is really important, so that's a good target to
wow.
Siphon Soul.
This is Drew of the Claw, Mark of the Wild. Just to set up for lethal. Is the only play. I mean, he saw Amaz drop a Faceless. He can't be worried about that at this point in the game.
I mean,
no.
at the same
he doesn't
time,
need more
though,
cards.
At the same time, though, you know, dropping
he wants them.
your opponent so low on health might be a little bit of an unnecessary risk. Like, how are ways Handlock able to swing the game from this point on? Like, he lost his Faceless, so he doesn't have to worry too much about the Leroy combos unless he runs a second Faceless.
And there's
Or
a
like a
taunt.
Giants being unable to deal with it. I think he wants to draw for his BGH as insurance, because that way, if there's any other cards that come up that he can't deal with, he just has to drop the BGH, and then Handlock gets overrun. Lucky for Amaz, though, he picks up a really important card in Sun Fury.
Here, I think you have Hellfire for 4. And then tap for 6. And then
it's just 1.
Molten for 1.
That's 7, and then you have
And
the Sun
then
Fury.
silence the Watcher.
Oh, okay.
Or do you taunt them? I think you taunt them.
You're right in the sense that Druid still has a lot of burst opportunities, so potentially better to taunt them up, especially if you're at 11 health. But at the same time, it is kind of hard because you're leaving up the Ancient of Lore in that scenario, unless you're using Soulfire.
No, not an easy turn.
Yeah, and don't let the health fool you or anything. Amaz still has that Alex Strauss that he can use both defensively and offensively, unless. Oh man.
You can't
There's
Soulfire now.
too much to lose.
Well,
Yeah, there's too much to lose again.
Like,
You're right.
Alex Strauss is one of your main ways to just come back in this game.
Oh, he's gonna go for it.
Oh no! Very painful.
This is.
He's been
so
very unlucky with those discards.
Yeah. And that has to make GAARA feel excellent.
Hold on a second. Is it over? You have swipe,
So-
face, hero power. That's 6. No, you can't finish.
Because he would like to put that Mark of the Wild on the Druid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit short of the mana, but he has the potential to do it. Oh man.
Lucky he still has the Owl.
Well, finally draw some of his.
I think
early
this
game
is
creatures.
silence Sylvanas and kill her off.
Yeah, but he needs to tap here probably to get something just in case of the burst. And that doesn't help at all.
Not good.
That'll be 10 mana next turn.
Yeah. Amaz looking like he could potentially be on his last couple turns here in the tournament, and GAARA coming really close to the finals. Amaz needs to stabilize here.
Silence is the way to go.
Well, has to worry about the follow-up.
No, the decisive play here is, does he heal the Molten Giant or himself? Because if he heals the Molten Giant, he gets wiped up by the Starfall in GAARA's hand.
Yeah, and he knows GAARA runs 2 Starfalls, but Amaz has definitely seen GAARA run these Starfalls. I think you have to go for the heal on the Molten Giant because you just can't win any other way. If you get Starfired or Starfalled, I don't know. These cards are so similar. You actually don't have a way to win.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, that means that GAARA does have the burst with the Mark of the Wild and the Faceless.
Yep.
All right, so GAARA is your second finalist.
Yep.
You don't know who the first one is, but GAARA has played well, and he's earned himself a chance
Can we
to
actually,
win $4,000.
you know, should find out who the other finalist is?
Congratulations!
Oh, we can
to
find
GAARA.
out.
Played a good
I can
series
find
in
out
Amaz.
while you talk to GAARA.
Falls just a little short.
Having a handshake there.
But you know what? Top 4 from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Gets a paid trip here.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I got. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah. And
Well,
Rouge should be extremely happy that their only player at the tournament has gotten top 4. Excellent. As well as Tempo Storm. GAARA's the second player here behind Reynad to represent that team, and now GAARA's come out strong. And people, we were talking about it in the early part of the tournament. If people aren't watching out for GAARA, they should, because he's an extremely talented deck builder, and now he's showing you that he's a great player as well.
Yeah. The Ramp Druid. I'm actually kind of curious, we'll ask him here in a second, in regards to how you thought he was playing the deck with trying to build up large options of threats versus just controlling the current state. Well, congratulations, GAARA.
Hey,
$2,000.
Oh, awesome, nice.
with the
double it
potential
up.
to play for 4,000.
Well, he does get to play for 4 and potentially gets the extra.
Sorry, I might have worded that poorly.
So you did really well. I mean, the Druid deck seems to be very kind to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think most of the people are probably wondering in regards to how you play it, especially against the Hunter. So I remember against the Hunter, I believe it was turn 6, and you had the option to Yeti to follow up your Keeper play, or Nourish to just draw more cards, when you had an Ancient of Lore in your hand for the next turn anyway, and you chose to get more cards. And that seems to be very descriptive of how you were playing like very frequently with the Druid deck. Is it just, you just want as many options as possible, or what's the idea behind a play like that?
First of all, from the point of view of a Druid, it's really hard to develop an Ancient of Lore because of the mana cost. And when you have the chance to play it, you have to play it, because later on it's almost impossible to play the card and have clear the board and play the Ancient of Lore is really difficult. So yeah, and I want to play every single card of my hand, and yeah, that's how I develop the board and the game.
I think we were just generally feeling like you felt safe the entire game. Like you did Wild Growth and Nourish, and you were still at 30 health at turn 6. It's like, wow, this game is going great.
I can explain it. I don't know if many people know this, but Colento and I made the Hunter deck together, and I know every single card and how the deck is played, and I really know the deck really well, so I know how to play against it.
That's great.
Another thing against the Warlock deck, I noticed that your playstyle is a little bit different from Strife Crow's. Strife Crow, when you have an opportunity to, pretty much close out the game with a very small risk, he would do it. And I relate that to, maybe 3 or 4 turns before the ultimate one in your game against Amaz. I think there was a pretty good option to, when you had the two trees out, to do a Drew of the Claw in charge with Mark of the Wild, and if he didn't put up a taunt next turn, you could do Faceless Swipe for lethal. And what do you think about an aggressive push like that? Are you ever thinking about that with this deck?
Druid has I was trying to play it safe. If he plays double Molten Giant and give it taunt, it's really hard. If he has an answer to my Sylvanas. And I was looking for BGH and having like a lot of cards. Like
Yeah, that's what we thought too.
I never felt to be behind in the game,
Mhm.
like at any point. So
Yeah, and that's like one of the only ways Handlock can really come back from that point if they have those double giants and swing it, because he doesn't have many cards left, and if he puts out those molten giants, I thought like if you were just getting the BGH, it's insurance that he can't really win from that position.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I was like, it's a really smart way to and safe way to play, but it worked out great for you. You won the series, man.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you.
6 wins in a row, going on 7.
7-0.
my,
That's cool.
my druid streak is quite good.
You're gonna be going up against Danielle, right? The guy who was beating, who
Who actually beat
RDU.
Strife Crow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the
I
guy
watched
who
that
beat
game.
Strife Crow. Do you feel really confident against? Have you been able to see his games at all? And do you feel confident against him?
Yeah, I watched it and yeah, I am confident. Like
Yeah. Your druid ramp's like what, 40 and 3 or something like that over the course of the past
37 to 4.
Yeah, close enough. Within the ballpark. That's good.
All right.
Right.
Well, you got to exaggerate a little bit as a commentator,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's what I'm here to do as well.
Yeah.
Just fluff up the details a lot.
All right. Well, I don't know exactly how much time we're out from the final. Maybe about half an hour.
All right, so maybe you have a few minutes to chat with Amaz. GAARA, congratulations. I'm
Thanks.
really happy for you. You come all the way here from Germany, and you're representing. And I think people, if they haven't heard of you now, they absolutely should. Good luck in the
Yeah,
finals.
I want to give shout out to my viewers from my
Yeah.
stream who are watching
Oh,
and
man.
supporting me. Yeah. Go GAARA. Go
Yeah.
Tempo Storm.
Go Tempo Storm. All right. Hopefully we'll see you, be able to have an opportunity to interview again in the finals. Good luck, man.
Thanks.
You want to come up, Amaz?
All right, Amaz, come up here.
Hello.
Hey.
All right, congratulations, Amaz, for placing top 4. You did fall short here in the semifinals. How did you feel throughout the series? It seemed like things weren't really falling your way when it came to the RNG, whether it was like small things like deadly
Double
shot
unleash
draws.
on the
the tracking.
on the tracking.
Well,
a bad
yeah.
deadly. No high main draw.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
Two
how
pretty-
deep were
terrible
you in your deck
soulfires.
with no
Yeah.
high mains?
It's just too bad, but yeah, when the last game, when the Soulfire, discarded my Alex Straza, I was pretty sad.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's no comeback from this.
We actually were talking about that. I think your second Soulfire was somewhat appropriate because you were behind, but I think your first Soulfire was actually like quite questionable because your hand was like extremely good,
Right.
and like a faceless in that matchup.
Yeah,
is
the faceless
insane.
was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean-
got a bit greedy, I guess, but yeah, the second one was really crushing.
You thought the second one was more questionable than the first?
No, it was crushing when I discarded
Oh,
the
crushing.
Alex Straza.
Crushing.
Yeah, crushing. Yeah.
So was the
Yeah,
thought
so-
to use the first Soulfire just because you don't want him to be able to answer your giant and hopefully be able to get some damage?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. The earliest plays, I was really happy when I put the ooze and he like wasted a
Yeah,
keeper.
Yeah, we
on
talked-
it.
that was
Yeah.
a really
extremely
nice
good.
setup, great
Yeah.
setup.
So.
I called that one.
It's
Yeah.
good, Chris.
But yeah, it
I
was.
guess you do know HearthStone, eh?
Whoa.
Yeah, but then
Right.
I know I don't have like Jiraxis in my deck, so yeah, Alex Straza is kind of my only end game in a
Mhm.
sense, and Faceless of course, but that got destroyed, so it's too
Yeah.
bad.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
And I mean, even if I won with the Warlock, I have to face against the Hunter, and that's gonna be quite difficult too, right? Or
That's
does GAARA even have a Hunter? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mm.
either way. After you've played, in your first offline tournament, how do you really feel like in looking back over? Were you really satisfied with your play throughout the tournament? And I think you have a lot to say for yourself because people really see you as a streamer first, and
Right.
now you're coming here as a legitimate contender for a tournament. I think you have you owe it to your fans to kind of address them and talk about how you did in this tournament.
Right. The thing is, inside a tournament, you kind of go autopilot, like it's just experience. Not playing tournaments, just playing ladder or scrimming for teammates and whatnot. Those really just carry forth because in the tournament there's so many things going on. There's added pressure as well. You can't really do the best plays, so experience from non-tournaments really carry forward.
Well, when you
So-
do, people notice. So that's good, at least, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Like the ooze
Yeah.
thing.
It's like-
People
yeah, yeah,
notice.
yeah.
Thousands of people
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
But then you have to play like a lot of games to
Yeah.
know these things.
Yeah, get those
So, yeah.
opportunities as well.
Mhm, Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Well, fourth is not too bad, but 4 out of 128 sounds pretty good. So.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Hmm?
Yeah, he's tied for third.
Tied for
I have a
third.
third too, yeah.
Tied for
Third sounds a bit
Alright.
better.
All
yeah.
right, you're right. My
You're
bad.
on-
My
you're on the
bad.
podium.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah.
Crip, you're doing great.
Okay.
I think it's really important for like Amaz to also do well because he came from really far away. A lot of these people come from so far away, and You know, when you pay for your own trip, and you know, you're the only player from Root here. I think you represented your stream, your fans, and your team really well. Maz, give like shout outs and thank yous to anyone who helped you for the event and people you want to thank.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks to all the viewers and everybody who supported me. You know, you guys really help out. So yeah. And of course, Root Gaming, my team, and you know, the sponsors V3, TT Esports, and Twitch. You know, those guys are awesome. And you guys.
Well, no.
Oh.
I meant
that was
6-0 for letting him.
Oh yeah, no, 6-0 was awesome. You know, he helped me prepare a lot. It's like, yeah, he's like super good.
Yeah, well, you were talking about him so much off stream. I felt like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know, forget everything now.
Yeah, it's kind of an overwhelming thing. Well, you've had a long couple of days. Congratulations and
All right.
I don't have anything else to ask him. Do you, Kripp?
I like your scar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Kripp became 10 times more badass with the scar.
He had the exclusive, the first photo.
That's right.
You have the when I was just like holding on a piece of tissue.
The fresh wound.
Yeah, the fresh wound photo.
First dibs.
Yeah. And
I'm looking forward to the finals though.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions on who actually will win?
No, of course I'm rooting for GAARA because he beat me. So.
Oh, that's right.
You have to lose to the
kind
best.
Of thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna lose it all.
Yeah.
And I was actually, you know, because we've been around, at least in this room, for quite some time, at least yesterday, and I got to know a lot of the players here, and, you know, you're among these, and I was actually pretty excited to learn that you're a saxophone teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty badass, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. He could play his own theme song to when he has good R&B.
Yeah. I was trying to push for you to have like a saxophone riff when Ragnaros does the correct snipe or something like that.
But then I would play like saxophone for like 4 hours a day, you know.
Yeah. But you know, maybe my ideas are not so good. Maybe your viewers can get back to you to some way you can incorporate your saxophone skills into your HearthStone stream, because I think that would really push you over the top.
Sure.
Yeah.
We should have like a HearthStone band too, right?
That's right. That's right. That's good. Do you have any musical talents, Kripp?
It's all forgotten.
I would say the same for me as well. Yeah. But Amaz is really good as well as some of the other streamers.
All right. Well, I think we're wrapping it up.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna get ready for the grand finals, which starts at 10:30 Eastern European time, which right now it is 10:05. So in 25. In 25, we'll have the main stage, GAARA versus Daniel.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's get out of here.
All right.